How's it going, everybody? Francisco Kuya Kicks Tejada here with a quick look at the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Deluxe Edition guide done by Piggyback Games. So just for a little bit of context here, again, I have a Nintendo Switch. I beat the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild after about 175, 180 hours of unspoiled, unassisted gameplay. I got about, I believe, 290 or so Koroks, 22 hearts, 3 stamina wheels, and I really took my time with the game, really enjoyed it. But when I completed the game, you actually get a little completion gauge in terms of the percentage of what you've sort of completed. And on the shrine, when you pull that up, it only shows that I actually only got 44%, which I thought was pretty shocking considering that I felt that I put a lot of time into it. So in order to sort of help me really complete the game, I just sort of looked online to see what they had to offer. And sure enough, Amazon actually had this on sale for about 40% off, which was really nice. There's actually a standard edition, which comes in both soft cover and hard cover. But with the deluxe edition, it's a little bit larger. It's a little bit more premium. It has a nice, as you can see, the cover here with the Sheikah sort of logo with the bookmark ribbons on the bottom over here. It has, again, a nice little spine here with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The little Silent Princess decals here, just like in the game. Calling out, again, the complete official guide on the bottom here. And just a nice gold sort of finish on the back. So I went with the premium. But to give you an idea of what's sort of in here, I came with this little insert. So as you can see here, it actually has at-a-glance walkthroughs with annotated map screenshots to show you every way through the dungeon. It's 100% authoritative, so all side quests, all shrines of trials, collectible items with mini games, challenges, unlockable Easter eggs, everything from combat strategy to puzzles and how to sort of solve them, comprehensive references of everything in the game. One thing I thought that was really cool, as you can see on the bottom over here, is that they actually had access to a direct line to the development team. So they actually worked with the designers for this guide to be really thorough. As you can see as well, there's a whole bunch of different editions, but I just want to sort of give you a look in terms of what the actual guide has inside. So again, it's a really nice hardcover, as you can see over here. When you flip it open, it came with this little fold out here of the map of the game. So one thing that's kind of cool, it's actually so huge that it probably won't fit in the shot, but I'll show you as best as I can. It's the complete map of Hyrule, as you can see here, with all these little dots. And what those correspond to are different Korok seed locations, as well as how to sort of unlock them. As you can see over here, there's a whole bunch of different sort of ways or sort of indicators of, or icons rather, in terms of how to actually find them. Pretty cool. And if you flip it on the other side, it's just a general map of Hyrule. So again, as you sort of go through the game, if you haven't played, there's a whole bunch of towers that unlock or distill the map of Hyrule for each region that you go to. And so that's just a completed version, as one big printout. So again, on the inside of the cover over here, you could see the Z from The Legend of Zelda with the Master Sword of Resurrection kind of going through, which is nice. You have your table of contents. So it's broken down into quick start, primer, walkthrough, shrines, side quests, inventory, bestiary, I guess, in terms of the enemies, and extras. You have a foreword from Eiji Aonuma himself, as well as the director Hidemaru Fubiashi. And the quality of the pages, it's actually it's a really nice touch to them. Again, it's huge, and just for scale, I'm just going to pull out my bus pass to sort of show you, it's pretty sizable. I don't know the exact dimensions, but again, you can see how this is just the size of a credit card, so it's a pretty big book. Nice for the coffee table as well. So again, you have your quick start. I'm just going to leaf through really quick. I love the fact that all the chapters are sort of broken out into these nice sort of covers or sectionals where you have nice big cover art and the headers over here. it's really thorough in terms of the details that they have. It's nice that in the actual pictures themselves, there's some nice arrows indicative of how to sort of follow the instructions. So this is sort of just the basic primer. You get to the walkthrough. So this walkthrough section over here is actually, again, more so how to sort of complete the adventure in terms of the storyline itself. We'll jump forward to the shrines. Nice archer link with the H and arrow there. But they actually list all the shrines themselves, indicate where they are on the maps, and then this is what's kind of cool, where on top of showing you the actual location in itself, it sort of draws out, sort of how to get into the actual shrine, as well as, again, like the path that you need to take, the shrines, or sorry, not shrines, the different Sheikah slate tools, the runes rather, that you need to use to sort of get through, whether it be magnesis, cryonis, and things like that, stasis. So again, this is still a continuation of the breakdown of the shrines. Just gonna jump to the side quests. Nice little guardian there. So in regards to the side quests, again, a little bit of a map, and just sort of showing you sort of who to talk to, how to sort of activate the side quests themselves, as well as how to sort of complete them. Very thorough. Continuing on. Oh, sorry, I skipped this piece over here. So the inventory, really nice with Daruk there. You can see that it has all the tunics, all the headgear, all the trousers sort of listed out, which is kind of cool. And the entire list of items that are in the game, or weapons rather. Very nice. Food. The great thing about the cooked food is that the recipes are actually listed out on the side, which is kind of nice. So the bestiary, I don't even know this word, but I guess again, it's just more the list for the enemies themselves. And what's kind of cool about this here is that you actually get the HP and like sort of the specific details of the enemies themselves. But furthermore, on the bottom, they actually give you a little bit of a strategy in terms of how to sort of deal with them. So again, with the Octoroks, use your shield to sort of bounce them back. With these whiz robes, you need to sort of shoot them with the opposite arrow of the element that they are. So again, this one here is an ice whiz robe, so shooting a fire arrow will sort of one-shot it. And as I mentioned before, there's also these bookmark ribbons sort of at the bottom over here, which is nice. I actually use that to sort of hold this page here, which leads us to the extras. Again, as I mentioned, what I wanted to do, or at least to use this guide for, was to, again, sort of complete the Korok collection. As I mentioned, I went and got just under 300 Korok seeds, but I do want to get as many Koroks as I can to 100% the game. This sort of lists out the fairy fountains, all the sub-bosses, again, all the Talus, Hinox, and Lynels. As I mentioned here, the Korok seed sort of pieces, and I mentioned also on the sort of pullout, this map over here, that again, there's different sort of icons in the legend that are located on that map itself. So these correspond to the type of trial and location on the map for that. It's really nice. The mini games, so everything from, again, the like snowboarding, foot races, obstacle course, archery, all that type of stuff are all indicated here. One thing I forgot to mention, I believe it listed in the very beginning, is that again, I mentioned that again once I completed the game with everything that I thought was pretty thorough. I still was under around 45% or so, and it's interesting because the completion rate indicates here that the only things that actually qualify for completion rate are every shrine that you complete, every boss that you defeat, every Korok seed that you obtain, every location that you discover. So what I'm assuming is that it's more so the shrines and the Korok seeds that are bringing my completion rate down. And I'm not 100% sure. I think there was over 500 Korok seeds, so I'm just under close to half or so, but I could be wrong. Just gonna double check here. Yep, no, 900 Korok seeds. So it looks like I'm only about a third of the way through. So there's going to be a lot of work for me to do, with this particular section of the book. Let's keep going back. I'll just actually use, again, the second bookmark. that I put on the back here. And this is the extras sort of section with the concept art, which I think is amazing, and another reason why I sort of invested in the deluxe edition of this book, just because again I have a couple of the other art books and I love the style of the game, so it's nice to sort of have these references in terms of how these characters sort of came to be and came to life. You can see all the champions here, some of the wildlife from the game, the enemies. Really nice look at the guardians here, the Talus, that Lionel, really menacing. Some of these shrines and sort of how they designed the game in itself. These runes that activate the distilling of the Sheikah Slate. And a little retrospective here where they talk about 30 years of the Legend of Zelda, going from pretty much everything on the NES all the way through. You see 64 here. I skipped the Super piece, N64. You see GameCube, you see, well, this was on GameCube as well as Wii with the Twilight Princess, rather. Link Between Worlds on DS, I've yet to complete, got to get back to that one. And a quick, again, little index over here in terms of sort of what to sort of go through. And that pretty much wraps it up. You can see again with the Zed and the Master Sword of Resurrection on the back here. And that's the guide. But I'm really excited to crack into this. Again, as I mentioned, Zelda was definitely one of the best, or the first games that I got rather for the Nintendo Switch, and I still want to spend more time in it. I still love the game. Definitely give it a solid 10 out of 10, and I highly recommend it to other people. But as I mentioned, to get a little bit more life out of the game without getting frustrated, especially with the amount of time that I put in. That's why I sort of, again, invested in the guide in itself to sort of assist me in getting to 100% completion rate. So my goal is to get to 100% before the next wave of DLC comes out with hard mode and stuff like that, and also just to have all the extra items, all the Korok seeds and shrines that I missed. So if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to drop a link to the deluxe edition in the description as well. So thanks again for joining, and we'll see you soon.